Good afternoon, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at an easy box on TryHackMe called LazyAdmin. And this box will teach you some skills for enumeration, initial foothold, and escalation on a Linux machine that has some misconfigurations and just a few settings that are going to make it really easy to do a penetration test against. So with that, let's get started. Again, this is LazyAdmin on TryHackMe. So I've already opened the terminal. I've got an open VPN up here, and I'm connected to the TryHackMe network, and I've already started the machine. And I added an hour to it just for good measure. Finally, I have added it to my hosts file, and you can see that here. Here's the IP address with a host name. And this will just make it easier for us to run commands against. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to run a tool called AutoRecon. AutoRecon is good for automating many scripts, including Nmap, and then based on the results of Nmap, it'll kick off other scripts that you can run, such as dirbuster, gobuster, a lot of the vulnerability tests that are built into Nmap itself. So we'll go ahead and run AutoRecon LazyAdmin, and we'll go ahead and get this started. As we go through this, you'll see a few things pop up that'll be interesting to you. So this will take just a minute. Go ahead and let it run and pay attention to the services that it's picking up. As you can see, it's running a quick Nmap scan. That's the top 1,000 ports. It's also running a full TCP of all 65,530 ports, and it's trying to run a top 20 UDP scan. And so far, what we're finding is that SSH on port 22 is open, and HTTP on port 80 is open. Based on these findings, it's automatically kicking off other scans based on the ports that are open. So we can see here it's running gobuster, it's running Nikto, whatweb, HTML to image to take a screenshot of the website, and a few other different scripts so we can kind of see what's going on. So that being said, let's go ahead and look and see what we have. Knowing that port 80 is open, we can go ahead and browse, and we'll just go ahead and do that right here. And we see we have an Apache default page. But nothing too exciting here. We still do have a few more tasks running. When AutoRecon finishes, and it will take some time, you'll see a results folder. And you'll see in here, based on your host name, a scans folder. Inside the scans folder, you can see all the results of all the different scans you ran. So here is my full TCP scan that is running. Here's a gobuster. And on this gobuster, you see one thing that's interesting. You see a /content folder. You'll also see that show up in the TCP/80 Nmap scan. If you come here to TCP/80 Nmap, you're seeing that you're getting the default Apache page. But if you scroll down, you're seeing /content, potentially interesting folder. So let's go ahead and check that out. So this is where it gets interesting. It looks like we're at an install page for a CMS, a content management system called SweetRice. I don't see any login notice or anything else, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what we can find, if there's any exploits available. So we'll come to exploit database, and we'll just type SweetRice. I don't know a version number yet, but we'll see here there are multiple different vulnerabilities associated with different versions of SweetRice. The first one here, let's take a look at backup disclosure. So this says that backups are disclosed. You can access all MySQL backups and download them from this directory, localhost include MySQL backup. So if I come back to my browser and go back to here, if I try /include here, I don't see anything. But if I recognize that the /content folder is really the root of the CMS, now I see if I go to include that I can gain access to the underlying file system. At this point, it's just a matter of looking at this and going to the MySQL backup folder. Here is the MySQL backup, and I've already downloaded that, and we can look at that here. So one of the great things about Auto Recon is it makes these folders for you to store things in. So if you have something that's needed for a report, you have a spot to save your screenshots, you have a notes page, here are the ports that it's found, it pre-populates those, and you can go and kind of put your stuff there. So in the loot folder, here's a file I downloaded called MySQL Backup. Let's go ahead and open that. So this is creating or installing the content management system. And if we scroll down and pay close attention, down here we're seeing some inserts into tables. We're seeing a title of LazyAdmin's website, the author of LazyAdmin. And if you scroll over to the right, one of the things you'll notice very quickly is that there are credentials in this file. The admin right here is named manager, so that is a username. And the password is this hashed MD5 string right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and you can do one of two things with this. You can either take that and crack it on your box, which is what I will show you, or you can go out to a website called CrackStation, and you can put it in there. So let's go ahead and open a new tab. We'll go to Documents/Results. And we'll just go ahead and make a new file here. I'm going to do this from scratch because as I've already cracked that hash, inside my results folder, you will see a different answer, or you won't see the same result as if I do this now. So I saved that hash file, and now we're going to type hashcat. Let me go ahead and expand my window so everyone can see it here. This is calling for a brute force attack based on a word list, MD5 hash, and the name of this is, what was the name? Let's take a look one more time. TryHackMe. So we'll go hashcat TryHackMe, and then the word list. And the word list is /user/share/wordlists/rocku.txt. And it'll say, hey, you have to use -- force because we're on a virtual machine. We'll go ahead and do that. And if you let this run, it will say, hey, I found a hash, use -- show to display. So we can go ahead back to hashcat. And at this point, you can just type the file name, -- show. And here's the hash and here's the password. And the password is password123. Well, that's useful for us, but we still don't know where to log in at. I don't see any kind of login page. So by doing some further research, really looking through the rest of these vulnerabilities, you can see on this second one that there is going to be this is a script that will do file uploads. So this will be useful. And you see right here where it's trying to post this file, it uses the as directory and the attachment directory. So let's go ahead and take a look at those directories. So we'll go to as, and we see a login page for the CMS. Luckily for us, if we type manager and password123, we get signed in. So we are into the information back end of this website. Now here you can click around and you'll find things like data import. You will find things like changing themes. These do only support very specific formats. So let's go back and look at the exploits that are available. This exploit, arbitrary file upload, seems exactly what we need. So if we pull that to our machine, I'll go ahead and download that file and place it in the pre-made directory that AutoRecon makes for me called exploit. And here is the file, 40716.py. Now this is to upload a file, so another thing I'll need is a PHP reverse shell. If you look at the exploit, it talks about only allowed file types. Example, htaccess shell.php5 index.html. So if you go to user share web shells, you see there's a PHP folder. And here is a PHP reverse shell already on your Kali distribution. So I've gone ahead and copied that to my exploit folder, and I've renamed it shell.php5. From here, we can go ahead and run our exploit, 40716.py. And it'll say enter the target URL. One thing, if you download the file directly from exploit database, you do have to do some modification. So if we take a look at the source code here, it is taking a variable in as the host, and all it is appending is /as, and then wherever it's trying to go. So you do need to type /content here, here, and here at 3 places in this script. And if you look at my copy of it that I already have open and modified, I'll show that to you right now. So here is mine, and I went through and modified and put /content in front here, /content here, and /content here. And that is the only change I made to this exploit. So we'll go ahead and run that. And we'll type the host name that we put in our host file. We'll type the username and the password. And we will upload shell.php5. Now you can see that it has given me a file upload, and it has given me a URL. If I go back and look at the reverse shell, one thing before you upload the reverse shell on your own machine is you need to open it and edit right up here at the top, right past all the descriptions. You need to put in your own IP address and a chosen port. I left the port at default 1234, but I did put my own IP address here. Now that I know what the contents of that shell are, I will go ahead and open up a netcat listener on that port, 1234, and all we have to do is go to that website address that was given to us, which is right up here, LazyAdmin.thm, content, attachment, shell.php5. So we'll go ahead and just pull that up here, paste, and go. And now down here you can see that I have a shell. I can go ahead and run ID and see that I am the web data user, www.tachdata. I can get an interactive shell with bash taci. And now you can see that I have a more traditional shell, a little bit more stable. From here, it looks like I have access to the file system. I can go ahead and look at the user directory. I can look at the home directory. I see there's one account from somebody named IT Guy. We'll go ahead and look at his folder, and I see a user flag. I won't show it on the screen here, but here's the user flag that you can look at yourself. Additionally, I see MySQL_login. I see a backup Perl script, and that's really about all. So to see what we can do as the www.tachdata user, we'll type sudo tacl, and we'll see here that user www.tachdata may run the following commands. It may run Perl with no password, specifically this backup Perl script. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So this script is a Perl script, and it's using shell, and it's running /etc/copy.shell. Well, that's not super useful to us. It doesn't really tell me what I can do with it. And if I look at that file, I do not have write access. That would be evidenced by a W here in the ID bits. So I do not have write access, so I can't change this file and put anything else in I want. So that isn't a path for privilege escalation yet. So I have no choice but to go and see if I can look at what this copy.sh file is. So we'll go to the etc directory, and we'll look for copy.sh. Now this is interesting. You see here I have read, write, and execute. So let's go ahead and see what's in that file. Okay, and looking at the file, it is the code to run a shell, to run a netcat shell. Here looking at it is calling netcat and it is calling this IP address and this port. So now that I know that, I'm going to go ahead and open up another netcat listener on port 5554. And we will go ahead and change this to our IP address. And before I do anything else, I'm going to verify my IP address, 10.2.18.142. So to modify this file, we'll echo the contents of it right now with the one modification. You can use copy paste here. I prefer not to, just because I have had issues with not being able to backspace and edit. So I prefer to type. That is one area that I still like doing some manual manipulation. So you see I've typed my own IP address. We will keep the port the same. And then we will store this in copy.sh. Great. Now that file has been modified, and we should be able to take a look at it and make sure we got everything right. So it has been modified with my IP address, the same port, and I do have a netcat listener. All that's left for me to do now is run sudo /home/itguy/backup.pl. Remember, that was the file that we had permission to run as root. Interesting. See if we missed something just a little bit here. I think we have to call the full path. So if you remember with the sudo tacl, we saw that we were able to run this full string. So we will call /user/bin/perl sudo user bin perl home itguy backup.perl. There we go. Now in the top right hand corner of the screen, I'll go ahead and zoom in. You can see here that if I get ID, I am root. And now if we do ls to root, you can see that here is the root flag. So all in all, this is a pretty simple machine. The biggest thing is enumeration and studying. So when you do this machine, pay attention to your nmap scans closely and pay attention to your directory enumeration. This was fairly straightforward in that there were only 2 ports open on this machine. SSH is not a common foothold point, so that led you straight to the web accounts. and you're going to have to do some studying into the services that exist on those ports, in this case, SweetRice CMS. Thanks for tuning in. If you like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Follow me and consider subscribing to me on Twitch. Have a great day.